race car spelled backwards is still race car. Welcome to the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Brad Amy, and this is the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Hot off a weekend in Atlanta. We were here in Atlanta at the track, sitting up in the Champion Grandstands. It was sunny, it was hot, and it was good racing. Jamie, what did you think, man?
Oh, it was hot, Atlanta. It's back, baby. It's back. I don't care what all the naysayers say. Screw them.
Dude, I heard a lot of negative opinions today listening to NASCAR radio, reading the negative world of Twitter, looking at Jeff Gluck's poll almost had me so pissed off I couldn't think. I mean, it's just, I sat in those stands for 5 hours pretty much yesterday. And for 4 of those 5, we were watching racing. Me at my age, 30, I loved it. You at your age, you loved it. My son at 14, he loved it. He's the future of our sport. And he loved it. It was good racing. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than it was phenomenal racing.
I don't know. I think the drivers there, I mean, it was seat of the pants. I mean, I was excited every lap. Pretty much. I mean, there was a couple times where we went single file for a few laps, and then someone would wreck, and we were back to double file. I don't get the naysayers other than they're like parrots that just repeat what their drivers say. And maybe the drivers hate it because it's seat of their pants.
Maybe. You know, I saw somebody on Twitter say to ride around in a pack takes no skill. Like, have you tried driving that close to other 8 miles an hour?
If it takes no skill, why do we have certain drivers we know are really good at super speedways?
And I don't know if I would call Atlanta a super speedway race. Technically, I mean, yes, it's very similar to Daytona and Talladega. There's a lot of differences too, in my opinion. I mean, I've sat in stands at Daytona, I've sat in the stands at Talladega, and now I've sat in the stands at the new reconfigured Atlanta. I see the similarities. Drafting's important, but it's a smaller track. It looks like everything's happening a lot faster. So, like at Talladega and Daytona, you'll see the teammates try to wait on each other, work together with with their manufacturer, and I just don't think there's enough time for all those shenanigans at Atlanta. I feel like everything happened much faster.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't just your teammate. It is all. I'm sure that there were spotters talking up to together the whole race, going, all right, we'll push you for a few laps." I mean, it was, and I've heard some, discussions from other people that are in the biz, and they're like, "Is it racing or is it entertainment?" Well, you know what? It's both. Otherwise, we wouldn't pay to sit in the stands or sit there on a Sunday and watch TV. It's both.
Yeah, that's like I've been listening to Dave Moody this afternoon, and people are calling in saying, Kyle Busch made the comment yesterday. He made a lot of comments on the scan I heard, but on the TV, he made a comment that he's no longer a race car driver, he's an entertainer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but if entertaining races, does that mean you enjoy non-entertaining races? Because I quit going to Atlanta because it was non-entertaining. And I live 7 miles from the racetrack, and I quit going.
I quit going too. I live 25 miles south of it. I mean, it's just straight up from my house on 341. I mean, I go out to 341, go up 25 miles, and I'm at the track. Well, I haven't gone in a long time because it's boring.
Exactly. I took my son.
It's
I took my son team, and we left. when the race, I mean, we finished the race, of course. We watched the end. But when we left, he looked at me and said, "Hey, I don't ever want to go back." I guess he was kind of spoiled because we've been going to Mega for years when we lived in Alabama. And then I bring him back here to Atlanta when we move home and take him to the race. And he's like, "Can we drive to Talladega?" Because that was the most boring race I've ever seen. And I'm looking at him during the race playing games on his phone. You saw him yesterday. Very attentive. He couldn't take
I
his
didn't
eye.
see the phone come out.
He didn't even ask to go to the bathroom. I mean, I don't think we ever went to the bathroom, miss a single lap.
No, it's the kind of racing I'm willing to pay to go see.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the last couple of years, I've watched the highlight roll on YouTube. And with just cause. I mean, the last thing I saw interesting was the last 20 laps when Blaney was trying to catch up with Larson. That whole race was just boring, except for those last 20 laps, because Blaney was just, I mean, he was just gaining inches every lap. If that race was another 10 laps, he would have won. And that was
Well,
the only drama in the whole race.
well, apparently 34% of the people vote on Jeff Gluck's poll think the race sucked. So those 34% are probably the 34 people or 340, however many it is, who were at the Atlanta race going, "This is great racing." Yesterday was a packed out crowd I've seen at Atlanta in years. I think they said 8 years, 8 or 9 years since they've had this many people at a race.
And everyone around us was talking about how great it was.
Yeah.
So why do people change their mind? They on the way home, interviews or saw tweets this morning and changed their mind. Whatever.
Honestly, I think you did as well. We both watched the race today on TV. I had recorded it from yesterday, so I watched it today on TV just to kind of get an idea of how the broadcast booth did and Fox in general. Yes, there's a lot of commercials and all that BS that's typical with Fox, but they did a good job of showing a good race. They didn't spend time on in-car views or fancy camera angles that show the bottom of the car and the asphalt passing by. Nothing stupid like that. It was just straight racing. You had the legend in the booth with Jeff Gordon. Phenomenal. I mean,
Thank God he came back. Boy,
I
that was nice.
miss Jeff.
Yep. I miss Jeff too. He and Clint, they just play off of each other, make it a
Well, I think Clint ups his game whenever Jeff's in the booth because
well, he had to up his game on the track too. Jeff was on the track.
yeah, that's true. Or had to run from him.
Yeah.
Let's not fight. Not here. Now, I mean, it was the TV coverage, maybe. Like I said, I went back and watched it on TV. I know you did as well, but I still saw it in person. So watching it on TV, I knew how good it was. I mean,
And I knew rewatching the race, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens. And and then it happens. So maybe if I was only watching it on television, I would not have the view that I have. But having been there in person, I mean, they're having a July race in Hotlanta, which is disgusting. We're talking about going back.
yeah, if we can get covered seats, we're in.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a day
it's going to
race.
be 100 degrees, 90%. I mean, you'll want to shower in between,
Between stage.
and yeah, but you can't because even the urinals are cut in half bathtub. It's 100 yards long, but
What I
that's
All right.
SMI for you.
Look, SMI had a good turnout yesterday. I hope they take the money that they made off ticket sales, reinvest 100% of that back into the facility. Make sure Denny Hamlin has some toilet paper to wipe with, because apparently he needs that. He gets mad when he about it. Make sure he's got that. Make sure you can look. It's 22. We can get rid of the trough. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
but Denny's a spoiled little brat, forgets his roots. I remember stories about how they had to beg and borrow to get him to a race, but now we're talking a man that goes to an SMI track, bitches about no toilet paper, gets crashed out in the race, runs over to his $25 million jet and flies home before the race is over. In the meantime, he's got toilet paper in his $1 million RV. Now, I've been going there forever, and I do know since the Smiths bought it, it sucks. Guess what I had in my backpack? A
Well,
roll of toilet paper.
never leave home without it.
And I didn't bitch about it because over the years, I know that if I get the RIA and I'm sitting there, there's no toilet paper, I'm screwed. So I've always brought, for at least the last 10 years, my backpack with toilet paper in it.
I will say
Denny needs
this.
to grow up and do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Denny wants to throw trash or negativity towards SMI. I don't disagree that they need to reinvest. I mean, put it this way. We spent time at the Daytona Speedway down there in Florida during the 24 hours of Daytona this year. That
Beautiful
track
track.
is beautiful. I mean, you could eat off the floor inside the track and not feel
Oh,
nasty.
well, I dropped a piece of my hot dog on the floor, looked at it and go, 5-second rule. That's how clean it is.
I will say this: the champion grandstands, if you versus the 100 section, they've removed every other row and added a bar top in. That was frigging awesome.
It was leg room, and I could put my backpack on the where the old seats used to be behind in front of me. So
Yeah, it never had to really need it out. They could walk right past us, and we didn't have to stand up. I didn't feel cramped. I mean, it was very much worth the $20 difference between the 100 section and the 200 section to have that bar top. And I didn't even know that was there until I got in the stands yesterday.
no, it was a pleasant surprise for me as well because I know SMI owns the track.
And we didn't expect anything nice.
No, the hot dogs were tasteless. Coke was watered down.
I will say that like I was looking at my receipt from the hot dog cheese I bought yesterday, and only thing I'll say is the Smiths, Marcus Smith, go to the Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta. Man, for what I spent $30 on a hot dog, a cheeseburger, and two Cokes yesterday, we could have got drinks. I mean,
A
you could
full
get
Papa John's pizza.
exactly like it's crazy. You could get brisket barbecue at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta during a Falcons or Atlanta United game for like $5, and you get a full course meal for $10. But you know, besides the nasty bathrooms and rundown facility, the racing was great. And no matter how much I had to pay for that hot dog, it will not take away from this was the best race in my life at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I've been going since the 90s. I took a couple-year break because of crappy racing. This was entertaining. This was good racing. A little on the long side. We could have run a 400-mile race there and with it, but all 500 miles were entertaining.
They were. And 400, I would have been just as happy. I could have got home when the sun was up. But no, overall, I mean, if you were to give it a grade, what would you give it? A to
Me?
F.
Oh,
Yeah, you.
it's a A plus. No arguments.
I'd give it a solid A. I don't know if I'd go A plus.
I think I've sat through so many snooze fest at Atlanta. I mean, look, Atlanta Motor Speedway is the only racetrack where I've ever taken a nap in the stands during the race. I've done it. I've actually done it twice. Once I was sober, once I might not have been so sober, but still, I've wake sober at other racetracks. Don't give me nap time during the middle of a race. If you're gonna give me boring, just give me 200 miles then.
Now I've been going since the '80s. I've been with my grandfather, my father, my kids. 4 generations have gone there. I think old grandpa would have enjoyed that race.
This is the
God
best.
rest his soul.
It's the best race since the recon 97
No,
from
you're right. 100% correct.
from start to finish. I mean, we've had some good finishes over the years, but I mean, 100% of this race was entertaining. And like we said at the beginning of this show, if you're yes, we don't want to be manufactured entertainment, but we are manufactured entertainment. NASCAR sets the length, NASCAR picks the cars. It's all manufactured, really, if you think about it.
They
I mean,
picked the 550 horsepower package. I mean, they did create it, but I'm telling you, I'm willing to watch it again.
heck, I watched it again. We did watch it again.
Yeah, we
Heck,
did twice, but
we've seen the Atlanta race twice in less than 24 hours.
well, I'm willing to go as far as I'm considering going in July.
Yep. We actually saw 46 total lead changes. That was 20 different drivers. Both of those are track history record sets. I also saw something that was like 141 green flag lead changes. I mean, that's insane.
There you go. I think we need to say we're the originators. We are the home of the statisticals. It was
Oh,
invented here.
100. Nobody
Big,
even were until we started this show.
yeah. It's what it
Can't
takes. Two dyslexics with a podcast, and we can come up with some catchphrases, man.
Statisticals. Yeah.
Go ahead with your big saggy statisticals.
Statisticals and meat sticks. You can only find them here on the Spelled Backwards podcast.
And happy sacks.
And Happy Sacks. You can wash your meat sticks. Well, maybe not mine.
Those are due. The happy sack and the meat straw are due to hotel reviews.
So we had 11 calls yesterday for 65 total laps. I went through all the cautions and today and rewatched them, and I didn't see any caution that really stood out. That was more or less. I mean, on lap 102, you had Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon. Well, Denny wasn't involved in it technically, but Kyle Busch got into Austin Dillon, sent him around, putting Kyle Busch in the wall. Ty Dillon saw his brother wrecking up there and decided he was going to hit the wall and try to take Briscoe out at the same time. And, it seemed to me that it was just the cautions that happened were because people were getting really big runs and running into
Did
each
you
other.
did you see Kyle Busch though after that? I mean, he ran a few laps after they fixed them up, but he came in for a pit. I mean, they're waving their pole out with his, M&M stop sign, and they're all at the pit box, and he goes to the garage.
Oh,
It looked like they didn't know he was going to the garage.
I think that was the second wreck he got in. Right? Or maybe it was the same one. I know when he spun out, the crowd, of course, went crazy.
Well, we had our buddy one row in front of us, Reb. I'm going to call him Reb because that's what it said on his tattoo on his back.
Oh, see, I've been calling him Daryl.
Daryl? Well, he could be a Daryl from like Walking Dead.
All right, so let me before you go into Daryl or Reb.
No, let's go back to the statisticals. We can talk about Daryl later because I'm going to post pictures of him. I mean, maybe not his face because we didn't get a whatever you call that thing.
We don't have to. We come back to Daryl later. We can talk about Daryl now. I just need to paint the picture. So we had this guy in front of us. He had a beautiful waterfall mullet flowing. I'm talking It was just perfect butterfly mullet. He had
Don't
on
forget his porn star mustache.
a handlebar mustache. Dude had no shirt on, beer belly and skinny, cut off jorts that were definitely too short, a Clemson tattoo, Tiger's tattoo, Clemson orange on, and a Chase Elliott hat. This guy, I mean, I don't know if his name was Daryl, but he looked like a Daryl to me. But because he had REB tattooed on his back, I don't know what that
Or
means.
was that for Reba and he ran out of money to finish the tattoo?
Maybe it's his wife. Maybe they charge $25 a letter. I don't know. But
And
this,
he'll be uploaded to our website if anyone
oh
wants to look.
yeah, we'll have a picture of him. Like I don't have any personally of his face because I wish I had that mustache, but
I do have a profile of his mustache. I'll put it on there. I don't have it. Well,
this guy literally, y'all have no idea. This guy shot Kyle Busch every single lap for 140 something laps. And it wouldn't just finger in the he would give him the double birds. He would wave him on. He would like pretend he
and
was
he would
fishing.
pivot from
Oh,
turn
yes.
4 all the way to turn 1.
It was absolutely amazing to watch. I've never laughed so hard. And the people next to us, they're like, I don't understand. What's his problem? I'm like,
I
look,
think that was their first race.
it
And
was.
they
So
were
I asked him, I asked that guy, I says, is this your first NASCAR race? He said, yes, the first one. They were having a time. They loved it. Big Bubba Wallace fans, shout out to them. I'm glad they came. They got Kyle Busch anti fans for the first time, though. And if you've never, you don't understand the passion non-Kyle Busch fans have for hating Kyle Busch. My son, he's like I said, he's 14. He's watching this guy and laughing because ever since he was 8 years old, he has seen that passion for the anti-Kyle Busch fans. So I told that guy, I said, look, they just dislike him. He goes, no, there's more to it. So he
oh
actually
yeah,
asked,
there was.
he leaned up and asked that guy, he goes, hey, why are you shooting the bird to Kyle Busch? He goes, oh, I don't like him. That was it. And I told him, I said, you were witnessing the people who don't like Kyle Busch. And when they don't like Kyle Busch, they don't like him very passionately. And it was awesome. I loved it, man. And you could look around and he wasn't doing it. He was just right in front of us. I mean, there
Did you
was,
see the guy that the sun was hitting us. It had to hit 80 in the stands or hotter. All that silver on the metal stands, but did you see that guy full blown winter jacket and long pants and a hoodie on under his jacket? It was a camo jacket. And every race, he would bring them in like an airplane dude at the airport, bringing the airplane in. And then as they passed, he would go ahead and dap, pointing towards turn 2. I took a picture of him too.
yeah, I
I
know
don't know
that
how he didn't die of heat exhaustion.
that one Chase Elliott fan in front of us to the left was showing more crack than a Richard Pryor concert. I mean,
I did not take a picture of that because he was bigger than me.
every time he every time he stood up, all I wanted to do was tap him on the shoulder and ask him, "Can you please pull up your pants, big huge sir?" I wasn't gonna say anything. I mean, the dude was like three of me, but it was awesome. I
And
mean,
it was a wife beater Chase Elliott t-shirt.
oh,
No
I don't.
sleeves.
It wasn't a white, but I don't think the sleeves fit around his arms.
Oh, was that it? He was just so large. He was Hoss, dude. He was totally Hoss.
Guns out, guns out, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we had a couple other cautions. We had the big one at lap 146, took out just about everybody. Denny Hamlin, I believe, caused that one by wrecking Kyle Larson a little, or aggressively drafted, we can call it.
I
Uh,
think that's how Denny likes to term it. I was aggressively drafting.
well, Denny just says it's everybody else's fault. So, He does nothing wrong. Just ask him; he'll tell
See,
you.
I have a theory about that. I think he had a dingleberry and he had to scratch it and he
Had
didn't
to
pay attention.
scratching his butt and ran into somebody
Yeah, it
else's
was
butt.
itchy from not being clean because he didn't have
No
toilet
toilet.
paper.
So
So it's the
then it's the
Smith's
Smith's
fault,
fault.
actually.
How am I supposed to wipe my butt with no toilet paper and then race aggressively without wrecking people? Hey,
Yes, I had anal itch.
that's the Charmin.
Yeah.
So then we had a couple more cautions after that. The one I really want to talk about, I watched Ford on TV because TV didn't show it, and that kind of pissed me off. If you only watched on TV, you do realize how big of an idiot that Michael McDowell, mate Ty Gilliland are. These
Oh
guys were
God, they were
running
they were morons.
laps. I'm talking for multiple laps. They're running front and back. Just they're in line drafting together. Here comes the whole field. We're going in turn one. These guys are coming out of turn two.
And
They
they're
decide,
15, 20 mile an hour slower
oh,
than the pack. I mean,
no
they were.
doubt. They're just creeping on. Well, as soon as the cars come up to pass these guys to lap them, what do? They start racing side by side. Now, I heard Michael, well, that wasn't what the communication was supposed to be. We were all supposed to go to the bottom. How do you screw that up? There's only two people on that team, Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland. They're teammates. Get it right. The I mean, are there spotters? Did they quit?
They don't
In
even need a spotter. They got their monitor and the physical rearview mirror. There's no way when you see 20 cars going 15 to 20 mile an hour faster coming off of turn two that your ass isn't puckered, man. There's just no way. They were puckered, dude. And
uh,
then they freaked out and went side by side. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to get their sponsors some TV time by getting wiped out.
they got their sponsors some TV time, and they dang near killed Cody Ware. I mean, Cody Ware took a hit into the wall that was just dangerous looking, but he walked
But
away.
Cody was running slow too. I mean,
Oh, the fact that Cody Ware is still allowed on the track is asinine to me. There's no reason for safety purposes that allow Rick Ware to enter a car into a race ever again.
but we
Because
saw a rookie and a veteran, the oldest guy racing. We saw Harvick and Harrison Burton. They dipped down to allow the pack to get past them. They were just making laps too. I mean, we know Harvick got wrecked out. Harrison Burton, I don't know to go faster than 150 or what, but
he
they
never
were
even
smart
started.
enough to they were smart enough to get out of the way.
You know, Harrison Burton got sent to the rear of the field before the race started for unapproved adjustments. So he
What was
must have
that?
been,
He needed. They told him to remove the yellow pages from 1982 he was sitting on so he could see over the dash.
well, no, he failed inspection twice. I say unapproved adjustments. I really don't know exactly. It says he failed inspection twice, is why I went to the back. Brad Keselowski had unapproved adjustments, but I don't know what he did to fail inspection. But whenever they fixed it so he would pass inspection, it easily slowed his car down 40 miles an hour.
Oh, it was. I thought maybe they said you're a rookie, you get a four cylinder.
For safety reasons. Well, I don't know. It was pretty bad though because Harrison's in a car that should legitimately be faster than Cody Ware, and I think Cody Ware was going faster than Harrison Burton yesterday.
No, I think I saw him catch up to Harrison Burton, but
Harrison, he got
he
passed
kept
a
it.
lot.
He kept that car clean though. I mean, it looked like it still had armor on it and a nice buffing when he
But
finished.
well, he finished 25th. He was only
But you know,
four laps
everybody
down.
behind them wrecked out. They were already home watching the finish. They hopped on with
Well,
Kyle and Denny.
you're 100% correct though. I mean, it was the last running car on the track. So yeah, he finished dead last. But you know what? He could have finished 37th, but no, he chose drive around on the bottom of the track 30 miles an hour slower. And because he was
And
smart and stayed out of the
he was
way,
smart. Yeah, he
he,
and
he got a
Harvick
25th
were
place.
he and Harvick were smart enough to get out of the way.
Well, I mean, heck, he had a lot of the guys who didn't finish is what's kind of amazing to me. I mean, you had names like Kyle Busch, Cole Custer, Denny Hamlin, the Dillon brothers, Ricky Stenhouse. That didn't shock me too much, but I mean,
But you saw Austin Dillon when he wrecked out, went across the infield, came up pit road the wrong direction, then took a hard right turn and basically ran into the wall in his pit box. He couldn't even park it in the pit box. I don't know if they were seeing how well he could drive drunk or what the heck was going on with him.
dude, I saw some guys driving out of the track last night that shouldn't have been, and they were doing a better job than what he did on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
It was insane. So I don't know. It's when we're at a super speedway race, I really truly believe, or like I said, I don't want to call it super speedway. I don't know what we need. But when you're at a race where drafting matters, if you're that much slower than the field already and you can't deal with anybody to draft with them, maybe you should just out. That's 6 races a year where drafting's important. Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. It's not going to affect Cody Ware in the points that much. He misses those 6 races. It might add to his life and the life of other people.
Yeah, and it is up to NASCAR when you drive like that. They need to. I mean, if you're not a smart driver, I mean, we saw Harrison and Kevin Harvick. They got out of the way, but an official watching the race should go, "Geez, man, this guy needs to. He just needs to go to the hauler. Just tell him to get off the track. He's gonna. What's the difference between a 31 finish and a 27 anyway? A couple of grand.
A pair of jorts and some cowboy boots, probably.
Well, I mean, maybe his dad has the money, but
Obvious his dad has the money because they wreck more cars than just about anybody else on the track. And they have consistently done that year over year. So
at
I don't
what point
personally
do you
know
think?
what Rick Ware
At
does to
what
make
point?
money.
At what point do you think Rick Ware sits Cody down and says, "Hey, racing really isn't your thing."
What you would think after he spent millions, he'd probably go, Cody, you suck. Wasn't his
I
brother
mean,
in
we
jail or
all
something?
we all have gifts. I mean, my gift isn't in driving a race car. Maybe Cody's isn't either, and his dad just needs to point that out to him.
I, I can assure you, if I sucked at something, I'd not have hesitated to tell me you suck and go do something else. And it wouldn't have been out of being mean. I mean, it would be that's looking for me. You know, I might think I'm great, and the rest of the world might think I suck. So I need somebody like my dad to tell me, you suck. Don't do it again. And then I can quit doing things like that. So maybe
Yeah,
Cody
it's like
Ware's daddy don't love him enough. I don't know what it is, but Rick needs to come up to his son and say, son, have you ever thought about working in the office? We've got an administration role that's just come available. It's called secretary. I think you'd
you're
be
vice
really good.
president of competition
Exactly. I mean, that would be nice.
or
Another
head of sales. He can get sponsors. It doesn't mean that he. I mean, he might find his calling doing something else, his purpose within the race team. Maybe he could just drive a hauler.
Quentin
Well,
House. He found his calling wasn't NASCAR and moved on. So it happens. People, not everybody who wants to race in NASCAR gets to race in NASCAR. I love the sport,
yeah.
but I probably haven't.
I mean, my grandfather was an engineer, my dad an economist. They both told me, Math isn't your thing, son.
Hey, I heard it. I heard it growing up. You're gonna be dumb. You better be tough. So I guess Rick must not have told Cody that one.
Well, I mean, it's called too much money.
Well, then we had at the end of the race, obviously William Byron won. One thing I want to say about William Byron winning, it was really cool to see the Chase Elliott fans, the Alex Bowman fans, and the Kyle Larson fans cheering at the end. I mean, I'm a Hendrick Motorsports fan. I like Chase. I told you I'm probably going to become an Alex Bowman fan. In fact, everybody hates him. So he's definitely the show's favorite driver, but he's becoming mine as well. It was just
Well,
cool to see the parody there for the fans. I mean, because the majority of the
I don't
fans at the
know.
track.
I think all the people that root for, and there was what 90% Chase fan. I'm a Chase fan, but
I would
one,
say 75% Chase Elliott fans and 24% Kyle Busch fans.
yeah, and one thing, and I don't know his religious views, but Byron driving a Liberty University sponsored car, and it's like a Christian because I was like, that pairing makes sense. He seems to be humble,
Very well
and
spoken.
yeah, and he's living the definition of a Christian. So I'm gonna just say that that sponsor and him pairing is a great pairing.
Graduated from Liberty University when he was
Well,
driving
then
the truck.
I'm gonna assume he's a Christian then. But
Well, I'm good with. I mean, like I said, I have a lot of respect for the kid. He's a young kid. He dominated the truck series. He drove for Junior Motorsports. So, you know, when you drive for Junior Motorsports, you're automatically always at the top of my list. I'll pull for anybody who drives for Dell Junior. I mean, that's all it takes.
do you think when Kyle was sitting at home watching the rest of the race on the big screen TV and he won, he said, "That son of a bitch, he keeps backing in the wins."
Oh, I'm sure he was saying something stupid. I love Bush. I like the fact that he's outspoken. Annoying at times because, like, Kyle Busch gets out of the car and just dogs the car, dogs the track. When he wrecked, his wife was throwing stuff, pitching a
Walmart
fit.
cars.
Did you see his wife out on the pit box? She's like jumping up and down the whole pit box. Like, whoa, calm down there, lady.
She's only 80 pounds.
It's like a family of piss poor attitude. Because
Yeah, but
their
his older
son,
brother is really chilled out.
well, he went to counseling. Didn't he have like sports psychologist counseling for being an?
Yeah, he did. It might have been mandatory, but he's like the elder statesman. And, well, I've always said this as long as we've done this show, as long as we've talked racing, we're going to miss the Bushes when they're gone.
Oh, no doubt.
But I have become a Kurt Busch fan in the last 5 years. When he went over to Stuart Haas, I'm like, this guy, occasionally he'll lose his shit, but he really has calmed down. And I'm going to tell you, after watching the race yesterday, him, he has been a great influence on Bubba. I've ragged on Bubba on our little show here. Bubba drove the shit out of his car.
Well, Bubba's a very good drafting racer. Whether it's Talladega or Daytona, Bubba's always been good. I mean, heck, he won at Talladega, Daytona second twice. So Bubba knows how to drive a car. There's no doubt about it. I think the Toyotas are lacking a little bit of speed this year. So
Yeah, they haven't won yet.
I'm gonna make it about Kurt Busch that I don't agree with on this, but Busch is taking over the role of the garage from Jeff Burton. Since Jeff Burton retired, I feel like
Yeah,
Kurt Busch has stepped up and filled that role pretty well.
I think so too. And I think the pairing, I don't know how Denny and Michael Jordan thought of bringing him, what went into it when they were baking that cake. Because, as you know, I have great respect for Denny Hamlin. Um, but the cake came out good, and I think it's working. And I think both of them will win a race and maybe multiple races
Oh,
for
no
the
doubt.
2311 team.
Yeah, I think Kurt will win multiple races. Kurt one race this season guaranteed. In my opinion, it's a guarantee. I mean, he finished third yesterday, so that's considering what he. I mean, it bounced off everything on the. That's another thing. You had Ross Chastain blow a tire, hit the wall, and guess where he finished? Second.
Dude, Kozlowski races way up there. And
These type of racing, these tracks like this, like Atlanta, Talladega, and Daytona, I think it really helps with some performance issues. So I will say the only Toyota I noticed struggling yesterday was Martin Truex Jr. He could not be the leader. Well, be the leader. He couldn't be the pusher.
he couldn't hold on to it.
But even if he was leading, the pusher was too fast, so he would pass him. And then when Martin jumped back in and draft back up to him, the power just wasn't there. I mean, the Toyotas are visibly in speed.
Isn't it strange that their Toyotas they sold to 2311 are performing better than the Toyotas at JGR?
I have a theory on that. Would you like to hear it, Jamie?
Yeah, I would like to hear that theory.
So my theory is 11 Toyota Busch is probably been the best and most consistent performing Toyota of the year. Kurt Busch has the best attitude. You have Kyle Busch and his crap attitude, Denny Hamlin and his crap attitude. Bubba. So I don't know how his attitude is, but I don't think it's as positive as Kurt's. Kurt, it's like he could, and somebody could take a dump right next to him in the car. You're gonna have to drive 500 miles with my crap in your car. And be like, okay, no, but I can do it. Just glad to be here.
But hasn't Kurt won driving Fords, Dodges, Chevys, and he needs to win for a Toyota, doesn't he?
Correct. If he not if, when he wins,
he will have won in 5 cars.
I think he will be the only driver to every manufacturer. I could be wrong, but he's definitely will be the only active driver to do it.
No, it doesn't seem to matter what you throw him in. He's going to compete. And I like him. I don't know why. I like the guy. Used to hate him, but he's turned me.
So one of the things that's been brought up a lot on social media today is drivers getting out of their cars and saying such negative things about the reconfiguration, the car, whatever it might be. You had Joey Logano say this is typical speedway racing. Everyone keeps crashing. What do you expect? That's what the fans want. Crash, crash, crash. I'm sorry. I was there yesterday. If we would have had 0 cautions for crashing, the action would have to watch on the track.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less. I don't need the wrecks to make it exciting. I need the side by side. That's what I want to see, and that's what this. Yeah, Kurt Busch get out. I mean, not Kurt. Sorry, Kurt. Yeah, Kyle get out and say he's now just an entertainer. I already said this car was made at Walmart. You even had Chase Elliott get out and say that drivers are now becoming entertainers. But if the fans like what they see, then it is what it is. The fans are going to get what they like. You know, you had Jordan Bianchi on the Teardown podcast last night give their opinions. And honestly, Jeff Gluck don't have a very good opinion of the Atlanta race. He was he was kind of negative, and I think his negativity is from the fact that he's worried every mile and a half track now is going to go and do a repave so they can copy Atlanta, and then we're going to be stuck with 20 super speedway races a
Well,
year.
and I fear that too because I don't I don't want every mile and a half to be like Atlanta. And the Smiths just overdo stuff, man. They're into gimmicks. I
Yeah.
mean, throwing dirt on Bristol. Come on. Bristol is the most, I'm going to say entertaining because it is entertaining, but Bristol is the most entertaining. Bristol always seems to competitively even the field even before we had the new car.
Yeah.
But the people that drive it the most seem to win the most. It takes experience, it takes skill. I don't think the new car is going to take that away, but I don't want to see a Bristol on dirt. I want my two Bristols back,
Completely agree.
and that's my biggest fear: the gimmicks, the Smiths gimmicks.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to like this being something that's special for Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is not Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega. It's not the same. It's different. But I think it needs to stay special for Atlanta. I mean, okay, we could do it at Texas because we need to do something at Texas. We either need to tear Texas down and put in
Texas needs to be a half a mile. They need to make that into like a Bristol, a bowl that's a half mile, 3/4 mile track, or make it a paper clip. But
some
Texas has sucked from day one.
maybe we should Texas into a roval and throw dirt on it.
There's entertainment.
It's a gimmick that we haven't tried yet. Smith, come on, Marcus. We're waiting. What's next? No, what I was
Well,
getting
Marcus wants iRacing to design all his tracks. Maybe you need to call iRacing. But
maybe maybe I need to work with they did that Chicago road course, so I'm sure the street course in Chicago will happen eventually. Maybe we'll get a street course in Chicago on there or a
look at the
rally
tracks that have
course.
disappeared because of the Smiths.
Yeah, but
I mean, was it? And
I
it's
don't.
been so long. But was it Rockingham that's on the side of the hill? You go down the hill, go into turn 1 and 2, and then you go back up a hill for 3 and 4.
I think it was Rockingham. I'd have to. It's been a while. Look that up. I didn't put
I
that in my.
mean, bring that back. Why don't they take Texas away and throw it back at Rockingham?
I mean, Texas is horrible. I mean, when we say Atlanta used to be boring, Texas beat that. Whatever comes next, like whatever's worse than boring, that's what Texas is. That's and that's what we're gonna race an all-star race at Texas because that takes talent. Like
Well,
it's
and the car fixed Las Vegas, which is a cookie cutter mile
yeah.
and a half.
I don't think we need to change any of the mile and a halves other than Texas until we see how this new car runs on it. Texas, I just don't think this. I think this car is going to do for Texas what this car did for Phoenix. Absolutely nothing.
Well, Phoenix was a snooze fest before this car,
And that's what
in
I'm
my
saying.
opinion.
Texas is going to be no better. And Texas is
No, I mean,
their big screen TV, which I saw the Indy race at Texas over the weekend. Apparently we thought the Atlanta facility was nasty. But I saw Jenna Fryer on Twitter was talking about how SMI really needs Texas because it's apparently even worse than so they might not have even had toilets. You might have just been crapping in a field somewhere, wiping with a leaf.
that's what they do in Texas.
Everything's bigger.
Wipe with a cactus. They're real men there.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the fails.
Well, I mean, isn't that why we have COTA? We're only going to Texas Motor Speedway once.
And then we go back for the All Star race. So technically,
Yeah, why do they put that there? What the heck, man?
I think we should run the All-Star race in Atlanta around 285. Just
Yeah, yeah.
like
Just
four.
shut her down.
And no, we do it in traffic. We want to see how talented you are. We want you to do this in a Friday traffic. You run on the
Why don't we
median.
run it on? Why don't they run it on Darlington?
I would like to see the All-Star race moved personally, just so everybody gets the opportunity to watch it. Just like the championship race, I think every other year, track is more than enough for a championship race, All-Star race. You know,
Aren't we going to do 3 years in Phoenix for the
I think
championship race?
sometimes NASCAR likes to double down on dumb, so they might run Phoenix. Who knows? Well, in my opinion, it was a great race. I mean, not only did we get good action, we got to see a lot of people with shorts on and cowboy boots that should not have been wearing shorts. We saw a dude in American flag overalls.
I thought that was Captain America after he became an alcoholic.
The South version of Captain America.
Yeah, it was. What
Then
about the little leprechaun Smurf guy?
I forgot all about the leprechaun guy. I did, and then we had the pogo dudes. I mean, who pogo dudes? I mean, they bounce up and down on pogo sticks for 10 minutes.
Boy, the Smiths spent some. They went all out on the entertainment, didn't they?
I believe the pogo dudes probably paid so they could be there. I mean, I think those people buy booths to sell stuff. So, we're
Well, the
probably
Smiths.
helping the pogo dudes by talking about them on our podcast, because if you missed the pogo
I think
dudes,
they do bar mitzvahs and birthday parties.
definitely do.
What the Smiths should have taken, they should have charged some cash and got old Denny Hamlin a
Roll of toilet paper.
bundle of Charmin over at Costco.
Next year, I think Denny Hamlin can go around and clean bathrooms. Give him
That
a
would
brush.
be awesome.
Give him a brush and
I don't think I've ever seen Denny smile, even when he wins. It's kind of like
it's obvious
a
on the show that
constipated.
neither one
It's
of
like
us
a
like Denny.
It's like a constipated pucker when he wins.
Denny is a trip, and not in a good way. I'll be honest, I have not liked Denny Hamlin ever since he ran into Dale Jr. and Dale told TJ Majors, his spotter at the time, he said, TJ, go tell that idiot to get his damn hair out of his eyes so he'll be able to see and quit running into people. By the way, that's the thing. I'm a diehard Dale Jr. fan, and I remember things like that. So I don't like Denny because of that. Now, Denny could be best of friends right now. I don't care. I haven't gotten over it, and nor will I.
Yeah, I don't think they are because I listened to the download and it's not like, oh, Denny and I went so and so. We were at the beach, or I went hunting with Denny. It's Martin. He
Yeah, I
went
don't.
hunting with Martin. Do you think they have conversations at night around the campfire, him and Martin? Does Martin,
I
is he
do.
more talkative?
I think not a huge Martin Truex fan, like her personality, but like I said earlier, he drove for Dale Jr., so I'll pull for him.
I
Yeah, I'm
think
sure
he's a
too.
nice guy, but I don't know much about him
I mean,
other than he doesn't have a personality. He can win. He won for Furniture Row, a championship. He knows how to drive.
yeah. I mean, he can win. He's won for the coach. He won for Furniture. Heck, he won at Junior Motorsports. He won at Chance 2 Racing before Junior Motorsports ever started. So,
If he would just, if maybe Denny could loan him a little hate and Kyle Busch could lend him a little anger. He would have just enough personality to where we at least love to hate him. I mean, I don't love him. I don't hate him. I'm kind of indifferent. He's like one of the few drivers I'm indifferent on.
Really don't have an opinion, good or bad.
No. And, you know, I hear great things occasionally about he and his wife or his girlfriend. I don't know if they're married or not, but their charities and the struggles they've gone through. He's loyal. I know that. So I don't have any. I haven't. Maybe I should stop ragging on him for having no person. I feel bad now.
That's a first.
Really bad. There's nothing negative about the guy other than no personality.
Well,
okay, I'm going to become a Truex fan now.
No, you won't. Well, we'll go. Nothing negative. I got nothing negative to say about the race. And next week, we're going all the way out to Texas for COTA. COTA is a 3.4 track, 20 different turns. If you don't know, COTA stands for Circuit of if I'm heading, where do I not want to stay at?
All right, well, there's a few places. It's kind of sketchy over there. I was going to try to be negative about their restaurants, but it appears like anywhere around COTA, if it sells tacos, it's almost rated a 5 out of 5. So just eat tacos anywhere. But where you want to be discerning is where you're going to stay.
What should we? If you eat tacos, COTA race, take a roll of toilet paper. This is an SMI track.
And maybe there's a theme through, and I looked at all the crappy hotels. There's a theme that runs through the crappy hotels in Austin.
So where
would
where would I not stay at first? What would be the?
You don't want the Motel 6 Austin Airport.
Mm-hmm.
I
can't even say that.
Just call her
place.
Paola. Paola.
Okay.
She gave it a 1 out of 5 on Google reviews. She says, and there's exclamation points. So I'm going to try to read it as she wrote it. Horrible. Frightening. We arrived at room 120. When we entered, we found cockroaches and a bad smell, very unpleasant. When we were going to use the bathroom, after spending 15 minutes in the room, I realized that it was covered with poop. Almost overflowing. My husband went to ask to change rooms. Luckily, they did, but it was a terrible experience. The other rooms stank ugly, too. This bad experience happened to save us a few more dollars. Well, they say that cheap is expensive. Read the experiences of other people before getting here. It is badly rated. And as we know, cheap is very expensive. We paid for 2 rooms in Daytona.
Yeah,
and then we've got the. I mean, I'm not understanding what Paola's saying here. Was the whole bathroom covered in poop, or was the toilet just overflowing because of her poop, or was there other poop in the bathroom?
When going to use the bathroom, it was covered with poop. So I would read that.
Was the whole toilet or the whole bathroom covered in poop?
I was overflowing with poop. I mean, she says it was all overflowing with poop. So I'm going to go with, I mean, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I think it was probably the toilet was overflowing with poop, but big problem for me. That's worse than the hair. That's
you don't want to
hair.
stay at it. You don't want to stay at a cheap hotel in Austin because the Village, Motor Inn, Amanda W. She gave it 2 out of 5. But when you read her review, you're like, did she miskey it? Should it have been a 1 out of 5 on Google reviews? She says, I just wanted to start by saying that I just am giving my honest review of the place. We stayed the weekend in Austin. We got to the hotel. It's not family oriented, which I don't know what that means,
Hmm.
but don't bring your family. I was just there with my friends for vacations, so we didn't care. The room definitely needs a deep cleaning. It seems that there was some sort of feces or blood on the bathroom door. The sheets on the bed had stains on them and had crumbs on top of the sheets. If you're looking for a place to crash for the night and don't care about that or the location, then go for it. LOL. So
No,
this is not a place just for a shower, I don't think.
I'm sorry. If you, which is poo, she had poo poo on the door. If there's poo poo on the door, I'm
How did it get on the door? What the hell?
like, look, maybe it's the
Someone slammed the
tacos.
door while Did someone slam the door while someone was bending over on the other side? I mean,
I,
what
gue-
the
I
hell?
guess that's what she didn't clarify. Is that poo poo on the inside of the door or outside?
I it's very confusing.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, ugh.
I don't care if you put the poo. There's a problem. Poo poo goes in the toilet on the door. When you're cleaning that room,
I mean,
which they don't clean these rooms, we'll just be honest. They don't have room service. If we read the review for your hotel on this show, you obviously do not have housekeeping.
there's no housekeeping.
No. There's poo poo on the door. I'm going to go with inside. That way, management opens it up, goes, yep, that's good. That's what we're going for. They probably didn't see the poo poo on the door because the bathroom door was shut and the poop was on the inside. That's my thought.
I mean, it's I don't know. I guess you're lucky if you stay at one of these hotels and the bed's made. I
I
mean,
mean,
really.
yes. Well,
I mean, let's.
the village motor inn. I mean, that doesn't sound like a nice hotel anyway. But
Well, we
maybe it was
also
just
have the
her.
deluxe.
Maybe it was
Listen to
just
this.
her.
I think I found the people that stayed in Amanda's room before her, and they checked out and went to the Deluxe Inn in Austin. And this is Ted F. at the Deluxe Inn. He says, and he rated the Deluxe Inn 1 out of 5. I think they were over at the Village Motor Inn first, but he says price was so low for a single queen, but still too expensive for what you get. Room was dirty, but the odor was the worst. I imagine 100 old perfumed grandmas just finished bridge club before we occupied the room, and I don't want to know what it was covering up. Communal toilet plunger was located outside under the stairwell. Yes, my girlfriend clogged the toilet. It was a fitting metaphor to sum up our stay.
So first of all, this is not his ex girlfriend because I don't know
Yeah,
any
you'd put that on your review? What the hell?
at this hotel, and my girlfriend, she took a massive one and clogged up the toilet. Yeah, words to get married by.
She had so many good tacos
Yep.
that she dropped a K2 out of her butt into the toilet. A
Or maybe,
K2 Wilson football.
maybe it was poop on the inside of the door then.
Yeah, because it was like, if Mike Krzyzewski was there, he would have gone, he shoots, he scores. Well, it'd be she. Yeah,
Shoot, she scores.
yeah. So I think Amanda got the room at the Village Motor Inn after Ted vacated it and went over to the Deluxe Inn in Austin. And if that's the case, Ted cannot choose a hotel.
I'm
Because
still
we're not, you and I are not the brightest two people. We're not the sharpest tools in the shed.
no.
But when we left the Bimbo Inn or whatever it was called, the Beach House of Horrors, we found a decent hotel room. We were like, we don't care what we're spending now.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that was poop on the inside of a bathroom door is definitely a loser bomb. It's definitely an LB.
Total LB. And how you got it on the doorknob or on the door? I mean, some things we shouldn't, and I'm glad they didn't share it with their reviews because Shelly last week, oh, Shelly, shave Shelly.
Yeah,
Ugh,
I'm struggling. Well,
wow,
I mean,
Shelly.
I've never heard of a communal toilet plunger. Do they put a tag? You think it's got like a big sticker on it so you don't steal it like a chain man far enough to reach the
It's
toilet?
got like a 4x4 so they can see you hauling it to your car.
Amanda's trying to steal the communal plunger. Go get her. It's hard. And what qualifies nowadays? Well, let's rephrase. What qualifies as a motel these days is ridiculous. It's unsafe. It's sad that people pay
It
money to
is.
stay in something that bad. I mean, homeless
And
people
you'd think with
that are
COVID, they would be cleaner with COVID.
well, you think COTA's bad. We're gonna be in Bristol here in 2 weeks. I can't wait. Bristol is the only time we went to the Bristol race, and it's the only time I've ever seen a drive-through dentist,
Hmm.
a liquor store, and a gas station. So you get your bottle of liquor, a loaf of bread, fill the car up, and a set of dentures all through a drive-through.
Nice.
So I
Well,
can't
we
wait
have,
for hotel reviews for Bristol.
oh, they're coming. I spent a whole week laughing my ass off reading them all. But we
Well,
got the roadway in and at University downtown, which this isn't a long way. It's probably 10 miles from the track. I mapped it. But and this is I'm guessing April is a college student because she went there with her dad and she says, "My dad and I agreed that this was the worst experience we've ever had in the United States.
wow.
I don't consider myself to be a diva about accommodations, but I've had better experiences in third world countries. Check-in took nearly a half an hour with no one else in line. The first room we were offered clearly hadn't been cleaned. The beds hadn't even been made. Towels were in the tub, etc. The second room we went to was apparently clean, but the bed skirt was ripped, a lampshade was missing, and the main light above the bathroom didn't even work. The employee who came to check it out literally hit the switch with his fist to try to fix it.
That's where you start at.
We opted, yeah, that's, that'll work, and or you'll get electrocuted. We opted to stay one night in the third room that was given to us, only because I didn't want to waste any more time getting settled. As it was, it was an hour later than planned for helping us set up an event. The room was mostly clean, but I was glad I had cleaning supplies with me because there were visible splatters on the toilet that came off easily when I sprayed with cleaner and wiped. The final straw, the meat straw, I guess, that made us decide to book another hotel for the remaining 3 nights of our trip was the water pressure. The third room was on the third floor, and the flush couldn't handle even a few squares of toilet paper, much less anything solid. So she's very well spoken. She's not willing to say poop.
Yeah.
Our solution for our one night there was to fill our ice bucket through the sink and fill up the tank between flushes. This was a pain, obviously. Aside from the room quality, I did not feel safe. It was right off the freeway with signs of homelessness camp and even broken windows in one of the rooms. Very run down and sketchy. Several Wi Fi options for roadway or roadway spelled differently made me unsure which one was the legitimate one and which might be bait for data gatherers. Just do yourself a favor and avoid this motel room at all costs.
So,
April was probably the most well spoken of any review we've read so far. It was me stuttering that screwed it up, but
I'll be honest.
once again,
I think April's up to something shady. I think her dad running around trying to find hotel rooms to cook meth in. Why else would you have all them cleaning supplies? So
but she wouldn't
maybe,
even go poop, dude. She said a few squares of toilet paper, much less anything solid. So she wouldn't even use the word poop, and we've got three others that did.
yeah, but just because she's making meth in hotel rooms don't mean she's dumb. She's obviously an entrepreneur.
And she's well spoken. She
Yeah,
really is.
maybe she's running the operation. I mean, Pablo Escobar, very well spoken guy here. So
Well,
maybe,
meth you don't have to make in Columbia. She just makes it in Austin. And, being a college town, there's probably tons of people wanting it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, if you're heading to COTA this week, not stay at the Roadway Inn. Do not stay at the Motel 6 by the airport. And definitely, whatever you do not stay at the Village Motor Inn because there will be poo on the wall.
Oh, don't forget the deluxe inn,
Oh,
communal plunger, and your girlfriend will clog the toilet.
your ex girlfriend.
But really, if you go to COTA, you'll. I'm telling you, you can see why every single one of and all of them had poop issues. I mean, I just read ones that amused me more than others, but just Google best taco in Austin, and there's like 500 taco shacks or stands, and they're all rated 4.2 to 4.9 with 1,000 reviews. So get a taco and get a nice hotel room, because if you don't, you will crap all over the room. The toilet won't flush, and you'll have to get your dad to bring you an ice bucket to fill up the tank for solid stuff.
Yeah, that just sounds horrible. So we're going to
Well,
COTA. Track. There's 20 different turns going left and right. COTA has hosted Formula One races, Indy races, MotoGP races. The X Games at COTA. Willie Nelson's played at COTA. Elton John's played at COTA. I mean, they have zip lining at COTA. I mean, it's a very cool. We've only raced there at NASCAR. So I don't have a lot of statisticals going into the race really to give you, but you got anything on the track?
I mean, the track was built July, well, in a news conference on July 27, 2010. Tavo Helmund announced plans to build a track on 890 acres of undeveloped land in southeastern Travis County. Blah blah blah. You just covered all the other races that are there. It's fairly new.
Wasn't this track built for
F1,
Is
a
that true?
United States Grand Prix. Yeah.
Okay.
This Red McCombs is the largest investor there. He wanted to call it Speed City, but they decided they were going to sell naming rights for $7 million. No one did it, so someone called it the Circuit of Americas at press time on April 12, 2011, and it stuck.
Hey, whatever works, right?
I mean, last year, I'm not sure. I didn't see the race, even though I was watching it very well because it was raining so hard.
That's why it's
Chase
hard to put
won.
together.
Chase won, even though he was about to run out of gas.
Well, Chase won, right?
Yeah.
It's called what it was. I mean, you got Kyle Larson finished second. Chase Elliott won. I think Kyle.
Joey was third. Ross Chastain fourth. Allmendinger was fifth, but he's just a ringer for a road course anyway.
Chase
Briscoe sixth. Michael McDowell, El Recco.
He's the loser bomb of the week for sure.
Total LB, dude. Total LB. I mean, how many times have we seen this LB come into a perfect situation in Atlanta and just screw it up? Total loser bomb.
Michael McDowell screwed up Atlanta just like a typical loser. So, yeah, you're 100% right on that one.
We should go to a trophy store and get a bomb on it and hand this out. I mean, yeah, the LB award. I mean, for Atlanta, for making a once great Atlanta race. It's only been one, but really, that was the biggest loser bomb of the race. Just total ineptitude. That was a word for today. You notice it had like 3 syllables in it.
Yeah, it's too much for me. I bet Daryl in front of us with the Kentucky waterfall.
He couldn't say it.
Would not use that word.
No. Tyler Reddick came in 9 and Kyle Busch 10. You know,
so who you got? Get your fantasy. If you got your fantasy picks ready.
Well, I do. And I'm going with Blaney again.
Okay.
I don't like Fords, but
he finished 17th last year.
He did, but I'm going with Blaney. Chase would be the easy pick, but I'm going with Blaney.
I think you're crazy if you don't put Chase Elliott on your fantasy team this.
Well, Chase is number 2.
Just when you're making your NASCAR fantasy picks on the NASCAR app, I think you'd be crazy not to sell it as my driver for the week either, but I'm just saying 4 picks, so you might as well put him on there.
For my 2 dark horses, I am going to go Kurt Busch and AJ Allmendinger.
I was wondering if
I like the Dinger.
I love AJ. He's just a cool dude. He's got raw passion that I just enjoy watching. He's entertaining. Oh, that's a shocker. Fans like entertainment.
Oh, do we? Is that why they have the carnival outside the track? That was disappointing, though.
Donkeys jumping into swimming pools, so I was kind of pissed.
I was kind of hoping for that, but the pre-race entertainment was lacking. But it's a dismissed run it.
Well, they had what was his name?
Pogo dudes.
No, the Billy Kenny, or
I don't.
Nobody had heard of. Dude, nobody heard of that guy. So let me.
Oh, so it wasn't just us?
No. I found us that we were talking to who knew who the heck the guy was either. But I'm not gonna. I don't remember his name, so I can't bash him. But my picks for the week. My first pick. Go to the guy who finished 8th, Mr. Alex Bowman. My driver pick is going to be Carson, because I think he would have won the fight when the rain shortened. My dark horses are going to be who?
I went with Kurt and Allmendinger.
Okay. And Corey LaJoy.
Boy, LaJoy, didn't he come in 5th at Atlanta?
Yeah, he finished 5th. I I don't know if that's his career best finish ever, but it's the best finish he's had that I remember in recent memory that wasn't a rain shortened race. I mean, he earned every second of that fifth place finish yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to go with Austin Cindric and Corey LaJoie as my dark horses for Sunday's race.
That's a good pick, Corey LaJoie.
Oh, yeah, you can't go wrong there. Well, man, you got anything else?
Just we'll be uploading our, what was his name? Reb? You had a different name for him.
Daryl?
Frank Pornostar? Daryl.
Yeah.
We'll upload some pictures from the track. We didn't do any selfies. I don't know. We
were just there.
But the racing was so good, but we didn't want to take time out. I mean, I've got some pictures of cars going around the.
We'll put it all up on our site, and our website is racecarbackwards.com. Let's on Twitter at carbackwards. You know, remember to like the show, follow us, retweet our tweets, subscribe, rate us, whatever else you can do on Spotify and Apple Music or Apple Podcast. Other than that, I appreciate you listening and have a great week.
As Daniel Suarez says, adios.
Y'all have a good one. Later. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Race Car Spelled Backwards.